Hello everybody, happy Monday evening. My name is Marianne and I'm at Once a Duckling. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late hopping on here. I was frantically getting some stuff together. Unorganised me, never. Yeah, so I thought I had everything ready, but I didn't, so I'm just grabbing a couple of bits. Hope everyone is doing well, hope everyone's keeping warm. I have got layers on. I have been so cold today. I went out with a friend today because we were allowed to meet outside and it was her birthday, so we said we'd go for a walk, and it was a bit of a longer walk than I thought it was going to be, and I have been cold ever since. I just cannot warm up, so I've got my warm jumper on. I think I've got like a ski top, not going skiing, not going anywhere, but just to keep warm. So I hope you guys are all well. You've probably seen my post that I put on this morning. Our tree is up. We've got a couple of trees up. We've got one in the kitchen, we've got one in the dining part, and we've got one in the lounge. Christmas in November is definitely on its way. And if you've seen my tray, it's nice and full. I've got lots of stuff in there, but there's always room for something more. So that's what I thought I'd be doing today. Hi Chris, lovely to see you too. Thank you very much for hopping on, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you could do me a favour, I know I say it when I do the video, when I do the lives. If you could sprinkle the video for me. Facebook doesn't like me saying the other word. But if you can let others know as well, I'd be really, really grateful, because then they can come find us and join us and do lots of fun projects together. So it's probably a little bit of a similar project than what we did last week, if you saw the video, but slightly different in as much that I wanted to make a little bit of a Christmas tree decoration from a picture frame. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's have a look and say hi to a couple of people. Say hi Kerry, thank you for joining me. See, Moira is looking, Sarah is watching, Caroline and Sally have joined us. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. And just get rid of this notification if I can. That's it, otherwise I can't see what I'm doing. So yeah, I've grabbed a couple of bits. I've got a small picture frame which is small enough, or yeah, small enough to fit in our tree. We've got quite a big tree, and I must admit, apart from baubles and stuff like that, I do like having a couple of larger pieces in there just to fill it up. So this one is a picture frame that I got from the range. It's 7 by 7 inches, and I paid £2.49 I think, so not a lot of money, and that's what I'm going to be using. Obviously you don't have to use it for your tree, you can just make this and you can have it hanging somewhere, or you can just pop it on the side. But I saw some bits that I grabbed and I thought it'd just be nice to have a bit of a bit of something different. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And as I did last week, I'm going to pop out the glass of the frame. That's the only thing. I've got lots of frames and I seem to have an awful lot of bits of glass left over, and got rid of some the other day, and my husband's like, what's all this glass doing here? But because I'm just using the frames and nothing else, all the glass is going. Having said that, I don't actually think this glass will pop out, so we're not doing very well here. Let's have a look to see if I can do this slightly differently. That's not going to work, guys. Oh no, that wasn't planned very well at all. I thought this glass would come out. You know what, we'll rock with it. We'll do something different. What I'm going to do, so this glass doesn't pop out. I thought it might. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to attach the paper actually to the glass. I'm going to Mod Podge it straight onto the glass, and we're going to have a look to see if that works. That's the thing, you know, you just find something different. I thought the glass would pop out, but it doesn't. So that's fine. We'll just work around it, do something different. So I'm going to pop that back in, and we are just going to have a look to see how we can do this. So let me have a look if I can get the back out, because I want it kind of for the size. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this pad, and like I did last week, I'm going to have a look for some paper that I like the background of. I did have a sneaky look, and I really like the look of this red one. It's nice and Christmassy, so that's the one I'm going to be using. That sounds like a project with glass. Definitely, I've got enough glass left over to do a project with glass. I'll have to think of a couple of bits that we can use it for. So this one is a double-sided design pad, which I got from the works for £3. I know I showed it last week. It's amazing value. It's really, really good. I've seen them in different places. I think Amazon and different places do them for about a tenner. So £3 bargain. Go and get yourself one. once they open back up again. So I'm going to be using this side of it. And then the other thing I bought was this, some little nutcrackers. And they're just some really quirky little decorations that again I got in the range. And obviously there's nothing wrong with just having them hanging in your tree with the 3 of them, just individually. But I wanted to do something with the frame, so that's what I'm going to try. And the idea was that I was going to pop out the glass and it was all going to be fine, but the glass is well and truly in there. So I'm just going to Mod Podge it straight on top and see if that looks okay. See, this is why I just need to be more organised. I need to try these things before I go on live and show it all you guys. Can you use the glass? Can you use the glass part as the back and you can still fill the frame? That's a really good idea, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a bit of a play with it and see where we go, but that's an excellent idea. So yay, to the rescue. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to trace this and we're going to have a look to see how we can fit it in there. We will find a way, either Mod Podge it on the front or to the back. So I'm just going to cut this to size. Oops. So what's everyone been doing today? You guys been at work or you've been lucky enough to be home? As I said, I met up with a friend and the idea was to go down the seafront and go for a nice walk. And I know there's quite a lot of takeaway places open, so we said we'll find a place where we can grab something to eat and sit on the seafront. And it was lovely. It was really, really nice, but it was so cold. And by the time I got home, you know when you just can't warm, you can't get warm. And that was exactly what it is. I just could not warm up. So let me have a quick look to see how I can best do this. So I'm going to have a look to see if it looks best like this and glued into the front or the other way. So the idea was that I was just going to pop this in and then have a look to see if I can glue these onto the front, sitting with the red in the background. And I think Chris is right in as much as if I turn it around, I can just have them on here. The only thing is we've got the little black thing showing, like that normally holds the glass in. So I'm just having a look to see what would look better. Yeah, probably. I think you're probably going to get more of the little soldier showing or the little nutcracker showing if we do it this way. So that's what we're going to rock with. Hi Michelle. Hi Kate. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining the chaos where sometimes just things don't go as planned. But it wouldn't be any fun if everything just went smoothly. So, because I wanted to use the red side, I'm going to pop this back in. Let's have a look. Come on. Anyone struggle once you've taken the backing of a frame out, you can never get it back in again. So I'm going to pop it back in and I'm going to do what Chris suggested and do it to the back, glue it to the back. So I'm going to close these and that way they won't be showing either. Sorry guys, a bit of a chaotic one today. It just all adds to the fun of it, you know. So I've popped it back in and we're just going to use the back of the frame rather than the front of the frame. You can use both, that way you can make it reversible if you want to. So I've cut this to size and I'm going to glue this over the top of the bits that normally keep the frame closed, so we're not going to see that. So I've got my Mod Podge, which I'm going to be using. Yeah, we were lucky because meeting with my friend today, if we'd have met yesterday, I think we would have drowned down the seafront. It was such bad weather here yesterday. And when I spoke to our daughter, because she's up in Loughborough, and I said, it's horrendous here. Oh, she said, oh yeah, we had that yesterday. So I think sort of the whole country is getting it at different times. But it was so windy and such a lot of rain that it woke us up in the middle of the night. It wasn't very pleasant. So what I'm doing, if you've got a picture frame that pops out the glass, brilliant. I'd use that side because obviously it's looking a lot chunkier. Now you've got a choice. You can either put the paper inside and glue the guys, like the little nutcrackers, to the front of it, right on top of the glass. But I'm going to choose the other option where I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to use this side. So I've popped the back in the frame, and I'm just going to Mod Podge this and stick the paper to it, and we're going to just have a look to see how that turns out. I've only ever really used shadow boxes where you can take the glass out. Normally I've used the ones from IKEA, which are really, really good. And I just stupidly just assumed that this would do exactly the same. But you know what? Just sometimes these things are a little bit of a surprise. So who's got their decorations up? Who is joining me for Christmas in November? I know quite a lot of our friends actually have joined in, and the other day, because we live on like a road, there's not many people walk past, but obviously people walking their dogs and stuff like that. There was actually a couple that stopped in front of our window, and they probably thought, what on earth is this woman doing? But I like it. It's cheerful, it's happy, and goodness knows with this year we need a little bit of cheer and happiness. So it's really cheered up the house, and it's cheered me up. And I don't know whether you saw my little hot chocolate tray that I've got in the kitchen as well. That's cheering me up every day. Probably not cheering up my waistline, but you know, worry about that another time. So I've Mod Podged this, and I'm just going to stick the paper right on top of it. And I've covered up the little bits that is holding the backing together as well. So just press that down. And then we've got a little background, so we've got like a little blank canvas. And those design pads, I don't know if you guys are making your own Christmas cards or stuff like that, they are so versatile. You can do so many things with them, and because they're double-sided as well, obviously everything coordinates, so you can make a load of really, really nice things with that. So next week, I'm looking actually, one of the weeks leading up to Christmas, what I want to do, I'd like to do a 5-day challenge, so where I'm going to try and do a live every single day. So I'm kind of getting some ideas together for different projects, and I'm thinking it might be the first week in December. So I'll probably go live every day, round about this sort of time. I need to have a look to see what time suits everyone, but that's the idea. So I'm doing a 5-day challenge where you can get loads of ideas and hopefully still have enough time with lockdown having finished to be able to go and get the bits and pieces. Michelle's got her tree up, decorations, still got things to do, but slowly getting there. There's always more to do. I don't know about you, but whenever I go into any of the shops, there's always more stuff that I really, really like that I want to add to. So yeah, we've got our decorations up and most of it. I see Sophie has joined us, Julie has joined us. Thank you ever so much, guys, for joining. If you're just hopping on, I'm just making a small tree Christmas decoration from these little nutcrackers that I bought. I think I paid £3.50 for 3 of them in the range, and of course you can just hang them in the tree, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with them, so that's what we're cracking on with. The idea was that we were going to have it in the picture frame, but that didn't work, so we're going to use the back of it. So that's what we've got so far, and all I'm going to do next is, because I don't want to have the little hanger things on there, I'm just going to snip those off. I do like the nutcrackers. They've got loads. They had some really, really big ones. They had some really nice ones actually in the range, in all different types of colours. And I thought it'd just be nice to keep the 3 together and just have them as a bit of a tree decoration. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look. Because they've got, like, 2 of them have got black, sort of a little bit of a larger hat, I'm going to go for this sort of sequence. I'm going to have the 2 with the black hat on the outside, and I'm going to have this little fella in the middle. So I'm going to start with the middle one, because normally I just find it a little bit easier just to centre the middle one. It's a bit of a random project, but it's just basically to show you that with some little picture frames, and you can get smaller picture frames as well, and just having like some little ornament, rather than just having the ornament in the tray. If you're looking for something maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, to either have hanging up in the house or just to have it propped on the side somewhere, that with a combination of a couple of things you can just make something that is completely unique. And just having a bit of a play with it. Obviously you don't have to do it with nutcracker things, you can just choose all sorts of ones. So I'm going to go for this one in the middle, and I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back. I'm going to add it where it's going to be touching, and then I'm just going to press that down and just hoping that he will stick. And then at the end, when they're all sort of settled down, I'm going to add something to it so we can be able to hang it up as well. Yeah, when we went for a walk today, we popped into town as well. And apart from some of the takeaway shops, I was surprised how many people were still in town. There's quite a few people just milling around, and quite a few shops, and say open. There's quite a lot of shops that have got round the way that we're having to do things at the moment by doing like click and collect. And I think there was one shop, it's like a little mobile phone shop, and I think they started selling toilet rolls. So I think that was their excuse of being able to keep open. So, because it definitely wasn't an essential shop, but there you go. So I've just glued him in the middle, and I'm just going to glue the other ones next to it. So next week I'm thinking I might do a, I've got a wreath that I want to make, and it's a bit of a bulkier project, so I might start it and then finish it off on a live, because I think it's going to take me quite a bit of time to actually do it. I made one last year, and it's made completely out of Christmas baubles, and I absolutely love how it's turned out last year. So I want to do another one for in the kitchen, which is going to be slightly different colours. So I think I might do that next week. I've got a couple of projects that I'm thinking of, but then hopefully the first week, either the last week of November or the first week of December, I'll try and do a 5-day challenge and share loads of projects with you guys. So I'm going to hot glue him next to the other one, and then obviously do the last one next to it as well. And I'm just adding the hot glue where it's going to be touching on the back, just plenty of hot glue, and just pressing down and putting into place. Yeah, there's loads of different. What else did I say? Oh, Elf on the Shelf. Who guys? You know what? When our kids were small, they didn't really do the Elf on the Shelf idea. I love the Elf on the Shelf idea. I've seen so many really, really good ones. Do any of you guys do it? And where do you get your ideas from? I don't know whether you use Pinterest or it's just having to come up with different ideas all the time. But I think they've got literally in the shops, they've got whole shelves dedicated now to the Elf on the Shelf, and just loads of different bits and pieces, and I think it's brilliant. It's such a fun way of doing things. So that's what we've got at the moment. So you could just have this standing on the side somewhere, rather than just having them in your tree, hanging individually. I think they look really, really nice just together, and I think the red background just makes it pop. So what I wanted to do, I want to add a way of being able to hang it up. So either in your tree, or if you just want to have it hanging in the house somewhere. And I know it's just a bit of a fun project, just to, you know, use some decorations and just use them in a different way than what you would normally do it. And I think that's looking cute as it is. But I got these wooden beads. So they are, I bought them in, I think I bought them in Hobbycraft actually, and they're not the big ones. I can't remember what I paid for them, but you can get them in so many different places. I think the Works do them, I know Amazon do them. They're kind of these smaller ones. So what I wanted to do is, with some string, I'm going to just make a string with these little wooden beads, and we're going to hot glue that to the side of a way of being able to have it hanging in your tree. Now I'm going to try hot gluing it. You might have to try that with a staple gun. I did have a staple gun to hand. I couldn't find it, so I'm going to try and just see if we can do it with the glue. Now I don't know if you guys use wooden beads a lot, but sometimes when the hole is quite small, I don't know about you, with the string, it's a bit of a nightmare getting them through. So a quick tip is, if you get some sellotape, and I don't know if you guys can see that, all I've done is I've added a bit of sellotape to the end of the string. It just stops it tethering, because that way you can just pull them through a lot quicker. I always find that I, you know, start off with full enthusiasm, and then by about the 5th bead, it's really difficult to get through, because it starts sort of unraveling. So if you put a little bit of sellotape on the end, and you can just pull them through very quickly. Now you can colour these beads, you can put them, you can paint them. And if you want to, we can do a project one time where I can show you how you can paint them very, very quickly. You don't have to sit there with a little brush. There's a way of being able to just paint them, and you can make some wooden garlands in different Christmas colours and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Another couple of people have hopped on. I see Samantha's watching. Janaise, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much. And I see Martina's hopped on as well. And for those of you who missed what I said at the beginning, if you guys could do me the favour of sharing and sprinkling the video with others, I'd be really, really grateful. So other people can find us as well. Kind of, my page is kind of relying on people being able to find me, and Facebook doesn't show it to everyone. Even though if I get a lot of people following me, unfortunately it doesn't show them or the post to every single person. So I'd be really grateful. So all I'm doing is just adding a load of beads, and I'm just kind of going to have to gauge to see how long I want it to be. I've got the beads rolling everywhere on the table. Let's have a look. Probably needs a fair bit of string on there. And of course you can go for smaller beads. I don't think the larger one's probably going to look as nice. I do like having the wooden bead projects. And we're still adding to our Christmas decorations as well. It's I've done the lounge, I've done the kitchen, but there's always more. So I was saying, if you go to the shops, there's so many different things out there. There's always room for more. And that's what I find with the tree as well. I keep adding stuff to it. Let's have a look. So, a couple more, and then we're nearly there. What's the weather like where you guys are? As I said, we were lucky today. It's not even been cold. It's been windy. It's been windy, but I know some of the parts of the country, they probably had the weather that we had here yesterday, and it's not been great. I mean, compared to last week, I think, was it last week or the week before? We went for a walk down the seafront, and we managed to take our shoes off and sort of, have a bit of a paddle. I definitely wouldn't have been doing that today. See you in a bit. Bye. That's my son just popping out. Yeah, he was a bit annoyed because our local gym has had to shut, and I know he couldn't have stayed open at the moment anyway, but we were hopeful that it would have been taken over, so he does like going to the gym. So what I've done, I've just done a load of beads on here. And hi Faye, thank you for joining us. And I'm just going to try and see if I can, I don't know whether I've made it too long, probably a little bit too long now. So I'm going to take a couple off. There we go. Yeah. So I'm going to put a little knot in here, just make sure that they don't go anywhere. Like this. And the same on this side. Let me snip that off. I'm going to leave it quite long because I need to have enough string left over to actually be able to hot glue it to the actual frame. So I've just put a little knot in there to make sure that the beads don't go anywhere. And I'm just going to see if I can hot glue this on there and hope it's secure. Rainy and very windy. I think it's pretty much windy everywhere around the country by the sound of it. And I see Michelle saying hello to Faye. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. So what I'm going to do next, normally I'd probably do this with a staple gun, but I haven't got one to hand, so I'm going to try and hot glue it and just keep my fingers crossed that it actually stays. If it doesn't, you might have to take a little bit of a staple gun to it and find a different way of securing it, but we're just going to go with it. To be honest with you, if it's in the tree, chances are it's going to be resting on a branch and it's just going to be secured this way anyway. So probably won't need that much weight. So I'm just going to add a generous dollop of hot glue on here, and I'm just going to press that down and just keep that in place for a minute, and then I will cut off the string in a minute. So I'm just going to wait for that to set. And I don't know if you can see behind me, there's a tiny little bit of a ribbon, little wreath, a berry wreath that I made, and that was with hot glue and stuff like that. Made that with an embroidery ring. I'm working on a blog post to get that out there to see how you can make that as well. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm looking for stuff and I can't find it, and I was just looking for a very small wreath because I didn't want a massive one over there because it's above our cooking area as well, and I couldn't find one, so I thought I'll try and make one. So I found an embroidery wreath for an embroidery ring rather. It's about £3, something like that. And then in the local garden centre I found some berries, and I bought those. So again, it didn't cost me an awful lot. Get another glue stick. And I saw, yeah, I'm sure I've seen you guys sort of communicating before. Faye is Michelle's daughter, because I know on previous projects, I think we were doing something with wooden blocks, and I know Faye really wanted to go and get the wooden blocks. I think they were the wooden block pumpkins, I think. So both obviously really talented in doing crafting. I know, Michelle, I've seen some of your things, and yeah, absolutely amazing. And I love it when people share stuff. So if you're making things, please share it with me. I always love to see it. Or if you've got any ideas, any suggestions, I always like to have a look at them. I see Tracy's joined us as well. And I know people are hopping on and hopping off. So if you just joined us, if you want to have a look back on the video, it's always on my page. You can go back on the videos and have a look at it. And I'm hoping that this is set. So let me get my scissors, and I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I've just done it with the hot glue. What I probably will do tomorrow is to find my staple gun and see if I can make it a little bit more secure, but I think it should be fine by the time it's dried. And that is it. So it's just a very quick way of just making a bit of a picture frame and just having something that you can either hang up. Rather than having the traditional way of having them hanging in your tree, you can have this hanging in your tree, you can have it hanging in your home, and of course you can just sort of, you know, pop it on the side. You don't have to add the actual the garland on there, but I think it's just a really nice way of just displaying it. And as I said at the beginning, it's just a different way of doing things, and just showing how with a very small picture frame, which I got for £2.50, you can grab a couple of ornaments and you can just display them slightly differently and just put your own spin on it. I think sometimes if you buy something shop bought, it's just very generic, and this is just a way of just making something that is completely unique to you. No one else is going to have it, and just having a bit of fun. And it didn't take a lot of time. So again, it's probably taken me about half an hour, and that's what me chatting away and just cutting some of the things out and just you know, having a bit of a laugh with you guys. So a very simple way of doing it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Let's have a look. Thank you, Chris. And Elizabeth says, I love your lives. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And that's what it's all about. As I said, if you've got any suggestions, anything you would like to see, any comments, always pop it in the comments box. If you want to know something, then sort of, you know, contact me. I will always get back to you. Keep an eye out for my post. I will be announcing when I'm going to be doing a 5-day challenge. I am looking at doing different projects where I'm going to be doing a live every single day for one of the weeks, probably the last week of November, first week of December. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got lots of ideas, so I'm hoping you can join me. If you can do me the huge favour of sprinkling the video and letting others know, because then they'll be able to join us for the 5-day challenge as well, and that'll be absolutely amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate that. And Jean says she loves it. Jane, fabulous idea. And Faye says I'm going to give this a go. So I'm really pleased, guys. I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. For those of you who are just joining, have a look back on the video. It's on my page. I hope you're having a lovely evening. I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope it's not so windy where you are, and that the weather settles down a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you on my page, and yeah, keep an eye out for some of the blog posts that I'm doing with some more ideas that we don't do on the live. So thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye guys. Bye.